Today I want to talk with you about relative clauses, relative pronouns, but only three. Although there are many in English, the ones I want to concentrate on are that, who, and which. And they fall into two different categories, restrictive and non-restrictive. Restrictive means that it is essential to the meaning of the sentence. Non-restrictive means that you are giving me additional information, but if you took out that phrase, then I would still understand what you were saying. Also keep in mind that can be used for people or for objects, whereas who is only used for people and which is only used for objects. So let's give let me give you a few examples. First of all, remember, that is always restrictive, and in writing you never use a comma to set it off from the rest of the sentence. For example, the snowstorm that happened last week caused school closings. I have made that happen last week restrictive to the sentence because I want you to know that it is not just any snowstorm that I am talking about. It is this specific one that happened last week. So there is no comma. It is not set off from the rest of the sentence. You don't have a comma before it, after that, or after week. It is just in the sentence. The snowstorm that happened last week caused school closings. Here's another example. She told me that we have a test tomorrow. She can't just tell me something and it makes sense to you. I can't just say, she told me. I have to say, she told me that we have a test tomorrow. The meaning was clarified, but is restrictive to the sentence because without it, it doesn't make sense. Another one is who. And who can be restrictive or non-restrictive in the sentence depending on how you use it. For example, here is one that is non-restrictive to the sentence, and it is set off by commas. The president, who is in his last term, is not concerned about what the opposition thinks. Who is in his last term provides you additional information about why he's not concerned about the opposition. But it still means the same thing. The president is not concerned about what the opposition thinks. The meaning does not change, and it is clear, with or without the who is in his last term, but the clause just brings meaning and clarity and understanding to the sentence. The other one is which. Which is usually used as a non-restrictive way and used with commas to separate it from the rest of the sentence. Now there are some who argue that which can be used in a non-restrictive or a restrictive way. However, I make it a practice to use that when I want it restrictive to the sentence and which when it is non-restrictive to the meaning of the sentence. Here are a couple of examples. We are going to drive west, which will take us to the mountains. Now the sentence means the same. We are going to drive west, so you know which direction we're going in. But when I insert which will take us to the mountains, now you know exactly what we're going to see as we drive west, but it is not essential to the meaning of the sentence. Therefore, before the clause, there is a comma. And notice it comes at the point of west, and it does not come after the word which. Also, as I say the word which, please remember that there are two words in English that sound exactly the same. Which is the relative clause that relative pronoun, which we're talking about now, and then the word W-I-T-C-H, which is a woman who has magical powers. So don't confuse the two because they have extremely different meanings. Here is another example when you use the word which as a relative pronoun. The car, which he recently bought, was totaled in the accident. Now, it is set off, it's in the middle of the sentence, so it is set off on each side of the sentence with its commas. The car which he recently bought was totaled in the accident. Now, if I took out which he recently bought, you would still understand that the car was totaled. But there is additional information that I provide to help you know that it's even worse than just having a car totaled, because the car is brand new. He just bought the car, and now it is totaled. So that provided you with additional information. This is just a short overview of how to use relative pronouns that, who, and which in your writing and in your speaking. I hope this helps, but also look at your textbook and your class notes for additional information and additional examples. See you soon.